My TNA Destination X 2012 pay-per-view review. The pay-per-view went off there a little while ago. As far as my thoughts of this show from TNA, I thought this was an excellent pay-per-view from TNA. Definitely one of TNA's best shows in a long time now. Obviously, last month's pay-per-view, Slammiversary, got a lot of praise, which that was a very good show as well. This show was even better. This was a show I think everyone needs to go out their way to see. You saw an awesome main event on here with Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, going into this, they had a great storyline and behind that match, and really got into the whole Bobby Roode and Austin Aries thing. They made it seem like a big match, and it was. And unpredictable, winner in that match. I think everyone was predicting going into this that, Austin Aries was going to have a good showing. It was going to be a great match, which it was. But I don't think anyone expected Austin Aries to actually walk out of this pay-per-view as the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, but he did. Great moment right there. Glad seeing him win it. When TNA did this, when the one spot happened in the match with Bobby Roode, the ref bump, and they'd hit Aries with the title, I think almost everyone thought that's going to be the ending. Bobby Roode's just going to win this match. Another cheap win for him, and Aries just going to lose that way. But that didn't happen. Roode actually lost the match. Aries wins cleanly with the Brainbuster. Awesome main event. Probably one of TNA's best matches this year. Probably one of the better matches. Probably one of the best matches this whole year I've seen. At least you could definitely say it's a match of the year candidate. That's how great that match was. So you saw a great main event with Bobby Roode and Aries. The last man standing match with Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles was really entertaining. Really, the ending was sick with the Styles clash through the table. And Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle had a good match like you would expect. And then obviously most of the night and most of the pay-per-view was centered around crowning the new X Division champion with the X Division tournament. They did one match where last chance whoever won that got the last 8 spot. That was a fairly good opener. And the whole entire, X Division tournament, the quarterfinal matches were good. Really, the only bad match you had on here, and the bad match on here was at least a watchable match. That was the Rashad Cameron and Sonjay Dutt match. That was at least a watchable match. And then, obviously, depending on what your views on Zema Ion, that's the one part I will admit being biased. I'm not a fan of Zema Ion, so him winning the Ultimate X did kind of hurt a little bit. But you had some good X Division action on there with the tournament, and obviously those 3 other matches I told you for the most part, they were great matches. So overall, this whole show was an excellent show from TNA. So let me get into the review. The opening matchup was the last chance X Division match, fatal 4-way. Whoever got this got to be the last person to be in the X Division tournament to take on Kid Kash. That was who they would take on. It was Rubix, which a.k.a. Jigsaw, Mason Andrews, a.k.a. Scorpio Sky, Lars only, and the other person was Dakota Darsow. Really entertaining opener. I love the stuff between Rubix and Mason Andrews. Dakota Darsow, what I view about him is he seems like he could possibly have potential. Obviously, he's very green in the ring, but I think he, a little more training, the more experience he gets, I think he possibly could turn into something. Lars only is the only guy in this match I would say didn't really impress me that much, and he didn't really impress me on Impact either when I saw him. So those 2 times I haven't really been impressed by him, but maybe that's because I'm not familiar with him. Obviously with, Rubix, who's Jigsaw on the independent circuit, and Mason Andrews, which Scorpio Sky, obviously familiar with them too, and I'm a huge fan of them. So obviously I know what I'm getting with them. Dakota Darsow, obviously the son of Barry Darsow. I think, with him, like I said, the more experience he gets, he possibly can turn into something. Lars only is the only guy I didn't see much. Didn't really, warm me over in the match. But this was a really good match. Rubix was really over the crowd. He was probably one of the most over guys of the whole night, other than probably Austin Aries. That's how over Rubix was. And really good match. Really good, solid opener. And the winner of the match was Mason Andrews winning it. Solid opener with him pinning Lars only, about 3 1/4 stars. So good way to start the pay-per-view. Like I said, the winner of that match took on Kid Kash. So Mason Andrews takes on Kid Kash. I thought this was a really good match. Good back and forth action. Really enjoyed it. I think Kid Kash, this match was booked perfectly. They played it off. Mason Andrews obviously was worn out because he wrestled one match. So Kid Kash was trying to use that to his advantage. Kid Kash, obviously being the savvy veteran, was using that experience, like his experience edge over Mason Andrews. In that match, he was doing a good job, playing to the crowd. So pretty entertaining match, a whole lot better than I was expecting with Kid Kash and Mason Andrews. And surprisingly, I don't think anyone expected, because I think going into the show, everyone was thinking that Kid Kash is probably going to be one of the people that will end up being in the Ultimate X. But Mason Andrews actually wins this match. I think it was one of those times where a roll-up victory actually made sense. Obviously using that as kind of coming out there and defeating Kid Kash in that way made perfect sense. Him winning via roll-up. Pretty decent match, about 2.5 stars, 2 3/4 stars. Someone enjoyed that match with Mason Andrews and Kid Kash. Next matchup was Dakota Darsow versus Kenny King. Another quarterfinal match. Huge fan of Kenny King. Obviously, the stuff that led him to TNA. Obviously, everyone knows about that. Him kind of, and it depends on your view of it. It's kind of dick move, kind of leaving his partner, the Ring of Honor aside, and just recently the Ring of Honor becoming TNA champions. But I don't really have anything against him going to TNA. I obviously understand why he would want to do that, get himself more exposure. So it does make sense. But the way he kind of left was kind of a dick move. But other than that, Kenny King, I'm still a huge fan of him, no matter what. I mean, he's a great performer. I think everyone, when they first see Kenny King, will obviously compare him to Shelton Benjamin, and he's like, and that's a perfect example to compare him to Shelton Benjamin. The only thing he's better than Shelton Benjamin, I would say, because he's almost as good as Shelton Benjamin in the ring. And then the one thing he's a whole lot better than Shelton Benjamin is on the mic. He's great on the mic, so obviously see a good future in his TNA career. This match, Dakota Darsow actually looked fairly good in here, but he was in here with Kenny King, which I'm a huge fan of, and he's a great performer. Kenny King actually won this match. Another good X Division match, 3-star match. Then the next matchup was probably the only match on the show that I could have dealt without. This was the Rashad Cameron versus Sonjay Dutt match. Started out actually okay. I didn't mind the beginning of it. It actually started out at a pretty solid match. Then it just kind of felt like it was dragging on and on. It just would not end. So that was one of the problems with it. And, Sonjay Dutt, I did like the ending of it. I do like Sanjay's new move. Instead of doing the Hindu press that he does in the corner, he actually does like a moonsault into a double stomp. So that was great right there. And he defeated Rashad Cameron in here. So he goes on and goes to the Ultimate X match. That was another quarterfinal match, obviously. So even though that was the worst match on there, I would say it was at least still watchable. I was giving it about 2 stars, 1 3/4 stars at the worst. The next matchup was Zema Ion versus Flip Casanova. Another quarterfinal match, the last of the quarterfinal matches. And this match really surprised me because, Flip Casanova, a.k.a. Flip Kendrick, and Zema Ion tend to be two of those wrestlers that are real sloppy in the ring, and they tend to mess up. This is actually one of those times where they actually worked with each other, and it was actually not a sloppy match. It was actually one of the times I actually seen both of them work the best I've seen them ever work. So they worked very well with each other. They meshed well with each other. You saw some good stuff in here. And Zema Ion wins this match. A whole lot better than the match that I would expect to see with the two, since, like I said, a lot of the times both of them are fairly sloppy in the ring. So about 2 1/4, 2.5 star match. Better match than I was expecting. The next matchup was Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle. This was the Bound for Glory Series match. Obviously, with Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle, you would expect to see a great match, which this was. Good mat wrestling, good back and forth action, counters, reversals, just an awesome match, and really enjoyed it. And I'm glad, just a lot of this whole pay-per-view was very unpredictable, which is a good thing with wrestling when it's unpredictable, because I think most people were probably expecting Kurt Angle to win this match. Samoa Joe wins this match with Kurt Angle actually passing out, so Kurt Angle does not tap out, but he does get passed out, and he passes out into the Kita clutch with Samoa Joe winning this match. 3.5, 3 3/4 star match. Great match there with Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle. Just the match you would expect from the two. Then the next matchup was Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles in a last man standing match. Every time Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles get in the ring with each other, they're going to have a good to great match. This was really good. Sometimes, last man standing is one of those matches that sometimes they can book it great, and then sometimes they can book it terrible, no matter what organization is doing it. This was actually booked smart. I enjoyed this. They started out in the ring, they followed up the ramp, did stuff on the stage, and then Kazarian comes out there towards the end when AJ Styles and Daniels was on the stage. Kazarian throws AJ Styles off the stage. Before that, looked like Daniels was going to be out. Both of them get up right there, but then there was a table placed onto the floor, kind of where the ramp was, and the ending was excellent with AJ Styles putting Christopher Daniels into the Styles Clash and going through the table off the ramp to the floor. Great spot there and a great way to end it. With AJ Styles just getting up right in the nick of time to get up before the 10 count. AJ Styles gets up, Daniels still down. AJ Styles wins this match, and I think it was booked very good because I was really worried that they were going to involve Dixie Carter and all that type of and Claire. I thought they were going to do all that. Thankfully, they didn't do that. Kazarian coming out there trying to help out his tag team partner made perfect sense, and thankfully that's the furthest they did with any outside interference, and obviously with it being last man standing, anything goes. So great ending there with the Styles Clash through the table with AJ Styles picking up the victory. Another really good match, 3 3/4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Then the next matchup was the Ultimate X match. This was the 4 people that won the quarterfinal matches went on to be in the Ultimate X match to crown the new X Division champion. This was Zema Ion versus Kenny King versus Mason Andrews versus Sonjay Dutt. Now, this was a good Ultimate X match, a good match. You saw some good action in here. It wasn't those incredible Ultimate X matches that we've seen in the past that people rave about. But you saw some good stuff in here. I think, the stuff with Kenny King and Mason Andrews, their high-flying stuff in here was good. Sonjay did some good stuff in here. They actually did one spot where, it looked like he was going to be taken out of the match, and he comes out at the end. So you knew that was going to play a role towards the end of the match, which it did. When Mason Andrews and Kenny King were down, you saw Sonjay Dutt climb up the steel truss. Zema Ion does on the other side as well. They go to the top, go into the middle of the steel truss that's above, the rope that's holding the X Division title. They kind of fight up there. Then both of them both of them basically keep their balance on top of the rope that is across that has the X Division title. And then Zema Ion basically wins this in cheap fashion, where he basically pulls out hairspray, sprays it, kind of blinds Sonjay Dutt. So then he basically falls down, and Zema Ion wins and grabs the X Division title to become the new X Division champion, which I kind of understand in some ways. Obviously, I was really hoping that Kenny King would have became X Division champion right here, but I kind of understand why TNA did this. Zema Ion's a star in TNA that's been there for a while, and TNA wanted to kind of put it on one of their stars instead of putting it on someone like Sonjay Dutt, which Sonjay Dutt just kind of comes in and out of TNA. He's one of those type of talents, and Mason Andrews and Kenny King are probably going to get signed by TNA. At least I know Kenny King is signed to TNA. I don't know about Mason Andrews. I don't know if he wants to be signed by TNA or is he going to be sticking on the independent circuit. But hopefully they do sign some of these talents. And Zema Ion wins this. Then one of the best things was the crowd reaction after he won this. He was getting interviewed by Christy Hemming, and the crowd basically just started chanting transitional, alluding to that he's just going to be a transitional champion, which he will be. He will not have this title that long. Hopefully he'll lose it fairly quick, maybe lose it to Kenny King. That's who I really want to see as X Division champion in TNA. But like I said, I kind of understand why TNA would give the title to Zema Ion, since he is their talent instead of bringing in someone that's just new to the company, a fresh face. So I understand why they did that. As far as Ultimate X match, like I said, it was all some fairly good stuff, and it just wasn't great. It was a good match, just not great. 3 stars, and I'm probably saying that obviously just being a little biased because I'm against Zema Ion. I just do not like him that much. Then the main event was the best match of the night, which was Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The storyline going in this was excellent. The build for it was great. I just enjoyed everything going into this, and they one of TNA's best booked main events in a long time. And just a great wrestling match. You saw everything in here. You were on your edge of your seat the whole time. You did not know they made it. Obviously, I think everyone was thinking Roode was going to win this, but they did a good job, teasing that either one was going to win, and then obviously the unpredictable finish with Aries winning. I don't think anyone saw that. I love the stuff in here when they were on the mat when Bobby Roode added in the crossface, then Aries reversing into the last chancery. That was great. And then Aries, one part in this match was going for the his patented drop kick into the corner, and Roode catches him with a body slam. That was great. Just an awesome wrestling match. That's all I can say about this. And they did it in a good way where you were thinking you did not know who was going to win this. That's how good they did this match. End of it comes when you see a ref bump in this match. Aries was going for the brain buster. Roode gets out of it, knocks him into the ref. The ref's down. Then Roode tries to use the title. He hits Austin Aries with the title. Then picks up the ref. Tries to go for the pin. Only gets a 2 count. Aries kicks out before the 3. And then after this, Aries tries to win via a few roll-ups. And then after that, he kicks Bobby Roode in the head. Then hits the brain buster. And Austin Aries is your new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Just a great match. Awesome match. 4.5 stars. Maybe even 4 3/4 stars. That's how great I enjoyed that match. Finally, Bobby Roode had a great main event, and it was a good way for him to end his title reign with Aries winning the title here. I don't think anyone expected that, so I don't know how long Austin Aries is going to be champion. Hopefully, holds it for a little while. We'll just have to wait and see. But an awesome event. 9 out of 10. That's how good the show is. Everyone needs to go out their way to check this pay-per-view out from TNA. That's it for my TNA Destination X 2012 pay-per-view review. All right, peace.